Hiya, so today we are at a little location that I have heard rumours about, seen some pictures of, but never actually been to. It's not far from Inverness, and it's quite beautiful. There we go. So, hopefully that showed you. Anyway, yeah, so I'm here to take a picture. I'm going to have a little rant about one of my favourite bugbears. And that is the gatekeeping that I see a lot of online for photography, where so many people of a certain age, and usually white and male, have this thing about you're not a photographer unless you're shooting manual. Now, I have never heard such absolute crap in my life as that. It's gatekeeping in its worst possible sense. It's saying if you've not got the techniques to shoot manual, then how can you call yourself a photographer? Shooting manual is nothing special. I mean, I do it, just don't know. But I do it because I want the control of more aspects, and because some of the cameras I use, you have no option. So I might as well just shoot everything in manual so that I keep consistency. But photography is not about technique above all else. Sorry. Photography is a creative art. It is inspired by, at least in my work, I'm inspired by the great artists, by Constable Turner, the Glasgow boys, largely. Got very into them when I lived in Campus Kenneth, which was one of the places they used to work from. John Knox and various others, who often had a human element in their landscape work, which is what you see in a lot of mine. So I do tend to disagree with the people who reel off these same names. There's no human influence in the pictures. That's snobbery rather than anything else. Anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, this is nice. Yeah. So, don't let it put you off. I could teach you how to shoot manual in 10 minutes. Absolutely no problem at all. It's not that difficult. I could have you comfortable with it probably within an hour or so. So yeah, go and play, have a go. It's. I'm kind of getting bored of this sort of gatekeeping in many aspects of life, and this idea that things are much more difficult and makes people feel so much more special than they necessarily need to be. Just go out and enjoy it. Take pictures. It's fun, and make some beautiful art. And sod the people who say you can't do it or shouldn't do it the way you want to do it. Anyway, let's look at this, because this is pretty cool. So there we go. I'm going to have a go at this one. I think I like this view better, actually. And I think if I crop it down to lose the sky and concentrate more on the water, that's going to be nice, really nice. How it's going to work in black and white, I'm not quite sure. But we're going to give it a go. I'm going to shoot some colour digital first. And I'm going to have a bit more of a rant while I'm doing this. So I think I'm going to go pretty low with this one. I've set the tripod, maybe a bit too low actually. I'll raise that on the centre column a little bit. I've levelled the base already because with a panoramic you kind of need to. I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to go wide or a little bit narrower for this one. It's it might work better with the 90 rather the 180 rather than 90. All right. So on this camera, you focus on the ground glass, which is in this Fresnel. I kind of like that. I'm going to do one, I think, like this, and I'm going to change lens to the closer focus one and try that. So we're set up. We're doing a slight underexposure to keep as much of this as I can. There's going to be a little bit of blur actually. It's going to be a bit of a shame. It's a bit too slow for this, but give it a go. There we go, job done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the lens over from this one to the 180 Schneider, which is a beautiful lens, absolutely stunning. To get a tighter crop on the Boathouse, and then I think we're going to go home. So we're in the dark room. I've just processed the films. They're currently in the wash. I will stick some picture on them in a minute and get them up to dry and see if either of them have worked. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling a little bit hopeful, but I do have the ability to grasp a defeat from the jaws of victory. So yeah, I'm not counting my chickens just yet. We'll hopefully have some results for you just coming up. So, we're still getting light leaks, but I'm curious because that's the first frame of the film. It's just not great exposure and it's got some blobs on it. These ones look all right. So that's frame 2, 3 and 4. 4's starting to get a wee bit. Then it gets worse. So I'm wondering if this is not light leaks as such. They're coming from top and bottom till the end. So I'm wondering if perhaps this is that I'm taking the roll of film out in too bright a light and it's too loose, so the light's getting in and damaging the second part of the film. So I think what I'm going to do is, rather than mess about with the seals again, I'm going to stick another roll in and I'm going to handle it with key gloves and see if that solves my issues. So that's a 6x9. The 617 looks good. That's just drying still at the minute, but I'm going to take that in a moment and show you those. And these ones I'm really happy with. So that's a full roll of film that have all come out perfectly. All 4 are keepers. So that's the first really successful film I've run through the 617. So I'm going to have a look at those. They're going to need scanned rather than printed here, because I don't have an enlarger or a film carrier big enough for those. I could maybe do a contact print though, which could be quite fun. So maybe do that. So there we have it. Done a couple of prints. That's the Fuji, and that's the DaYi. I had to crop that one slightly because there's nothing big enough to print that here. Yeah, so I just thought I'd finish off with a quick update. I've processed all the films and I seem to have the light leaks under control. Unfortunately, I underexposed both films quite substantially, so I need a rethink on my metering. I think I need to positively overexpose. So rather than shooting to maintain highlights as I normally would on digital, I'm going to try shooting to push them a little bit, to pull the details out of the shadows. The negative density was very low, so there was something there, but it wasn't good enough to really do much with, and the resultant prints were very low contrast. But on the other side, the pictures from the Nikon F401 came out beautifully, and more surprisingly, the pictures from the little Minolta Hymatic G2, the £10 charity shop plastic fantastic wonder, are actually really good fun. They've come out beautifully exposed. They're really nice negatives. It's a little soft, a little fuzzy. I'm not sure if it's a plastic lens or if it's a glass lens on it, but it's not the best quality. It's not professional, but it's good. I really like them. check out this one coming now. And I'll see you later on. Bye-bye.